Hi, and welcome to the Miracle of Motherhood. I'm your host, Carrie Ferris, a mother of 8, birth doula, and certified lactation counselor. Through this podcast, I set out to share real and raw, beautiful stories of motherhood because no mom should ever feel like she's walking this journey alone. Welcome to the Miracle of Motherhood. Hello, and welcome to the Miracle of Motherhood. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your family?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Lex. I am currently living with my husband and my son in Eastern Europe. We travel the world. I'm homeschooling him, and I have the ability to build my own business work from home, which gives me more freedom to spend time with him. And that's it.
That's amazing. I think it's amazing that I finally have somebody who's not in America. So get a different perspective. I
Yes.
know a lot of countries over there don't allow
Yes.
homeschooling. Did you ever have that issue?
Yes, I work it. When mama wants something, she makes it happen, right? And so that's exactly
Yeah.
what happened. We are US citizens, so that allows me more flexibility. And I literally spent at one point 3 nights trying to figure out how I'm going to make it happen. And I figured it out. Because we travel, it allows us to still have residency in the US. And then wherever we travel, we're not officially residents. So by moving around, it allows us to homeschool, world school, whatever you want to call it these days.
World
Right.
school. I love that. We
Yeah.
homeschool. I think it's amazing that you're able to world
Yeah.
school. I would love to be able to do that. So, before motherhood, how did you picture your life? Did you ever imagine yourself being a mom?
Absolutely not. Oh gosh, no. One of the reasons why I talk to people about nervous system now is I lived in fight or flight for majority of my life, definitely 2 decades, last 2 decades of adulthood. And I was in that mode of survival, which means like there's no room for growth. No room for long-term thinking. It was just about surviving the now. And because of that, now I understand. At that time, I thought that was my personality trait. Because of that, I understand that I didn't want kids. I used to think they take too much of your time, they take your freedom, they take everything away from you, they are annoying. Why would I want to bring that into my life when I have all this freedom? Which is what I thought. But I was living in survival mode, which again, I didn't recognize then, which is fine. It's just the path that I was on. But I used to always say, I never want to be a mom, never want to be a mom, never want to be a mom. And as a matter of fact, it was one of the people that I used to work with who said something to me that really stuck with me. He said at the time, he had twin girls with his wife, and he said, we didn't start trying to have kids until we decided to be parents. Not because we want to have kids, but because we decided we wanted to be parents. And just that, like, confirmed to me, no, I don't want to be a parent. There's no way. I don't want kids. No, I don't want to be a parent. I don't want that role.
Right. Wow. So, as you mentioned, you didn't really want to be a mom. What made that shift in you? What caused that
Yeah,
shift?
so I lived in the US for 20 years, and after about 20 years, 19 years, I guess, later, I reconnected with my high school sweetheart. We actually know each other from grade school. We grew up in the same neighborhood. And once we connected and, started talking, we're like, all right, we're definitely going to be together. And it was the matter of, deciding where we're going to live, how we're going to do it. And then he suggested, we were highly in love, highly in the, high on love hormones. And
Mhm.
he said, why don't we just start a family? And as a matter of fact, funny enough, he said, why don't we have like 6 kids? And I was like, yeah, let's do it. Because I was high on, being in love hormones. And I got
Right.
pregnant on the first try, and it was the best thing that could have happened to me ever.
So, what was it like when you found out that you were pregnant for the first time? What were those emotions and those feelings like?
Because we planned it, I knew in the morning I was pregnant, and I told it to my husband. We were traveling to a different city, and I said, I'm pregnant. And he went, that's so cute. There's like no way, like like it's so
Right.
cute that you're thinking you got pregnant that quick. He was like, all
Hmm.
right, but that's cute, but like, it takes more than that. And I was like, no, I'm pregnant. And 2, 3 weeks later, whatever it was, I took the test and I said, see, it's got 2 lines. And him being a man, he was like, what do you mean 2 lines? It's like, all right,
2 lines.
let me explain this to you, friend.
Yep.
And so it was very joyful. I was very happy. It's like I just walked into a new identity, I guess. When all of these things happened to me, I became the new me, but I never knew how much better my life will be with my child in it.
I completely understand that. I've walked that path before. My very first one, I was 19
Mhm.
when I got pregnant, or I was 18 when I got pregnant. I was 19 when I had her. And it's like putting on a completely different identity. Like once that child is in the world, you have to be a completely different person. And
Absolutely.
it takes a lot.
It takes a
It takes a lot.
complete transformation. And back to
Yes.
why I didn't want to have kids, which I'm speaking for myself. People in this today, people in this mode of, I want to have a choice. I don't want to have kids. And I'm like, listen, you decide for you. That's a personal decision. I'm just speaking from my truth, from what happened with me. The way that changed me is, and I know all moms get this, is, and you can't really put it in words because yes, you have to put a different suit on. You have to truly change from within to the depths
Hmm.
that you've never walked before, right? Like maybe
Yes.
we'll have done some in the work, but a child will make you have to look so deep within that it's scary for people to do that.
I agree. And it brings up for a lot of us a lot of our own personal struggles, our own personal childhood traumas, our own personal, things about our parents. And a lot of us go through life. I'm never going to be like my parent, but we find ourselves saying the exact same things our parents said that made us say that. And then we go, oh, now I understand. And coming into that knowledge of parenthood that you are going to say these things because it is in the best interest of your child, even if you didn't see it as a child. And you have to take that rebuttal from your own child,
Yes.
when they're saying, I'm never going to be like you when I'm a parent. And I'm like, but you might
But
be.
you may, you just may, you never
But
know.
you may. You never know.
Absolutely. It's
It
the deep
is,
inner child work. It's reparenting yourself all over again.
yes, all the things, all the things. So, how did that early part of pregnancy kind of change your perspective on what motherhood is?
That change didn't come for me through pregnancy because after I
Okay.
got pregnant, things started to happen not in the way that I expected them to in my life. Not nothing to do with motherhood or childhood or my child. It just the life. And as things happened, everything started falling apart around me. It seemed so. And my child in my belly was my only hope at times. And so while in the moment I got pregnant, everything seemed fantastic, 2 months later, 3 months later, everything else seemed like it was falling apart. And I remember a moment thinking, I don't know if I made the right choice here. I don't know if I should have thought about bringing this child into this world. And I remember sitting in the car and prepared tissue here. So if I get emotional, we're gonna need a minute. But I remember sitting in the car thinking, if this child is meant to be here, he will be here, and it will be for the best. And if not, then I leave it up to nature. And when he was born, it was like I remembered that, and I knew that everything was gonna go for the better. And he has. He's my saving grace.
Mine was too. My first one was definitely saved my
Yeah.
life in so many ways. It's okay. So, take us back to that moment when your son was born and they told you his blood work wasn't okay.
Yeah. So
Um,
I was still going through stuff in my life. He was born, and the way it works here in Eastern Europe, which if I knew better, I would have went privately or back to the US, but I didn't know. And when he was born, they usually keep you in the hospital with a room with some other women for like 2 or 3 days and then let you go home with your baby. Well, it was like day 3. The girls were starting to leave and they came to me and they said, there's something wrong with his blood. And I said, well, what does it mean? They're like, well, we don't know yet. So it's like they told me what something was wrong, but they didn't tell me what it was and how it's going to change or affect his life. And I was so lost. I Because of all the other things going on in my life, I couldn't rely on anyone. So here I am with my newborn, who is my saving grace, and then they're telling me there's something wrong with his blood. And I don't know. I thought it was gonna fall apart. But there's that part of you, right? That's now, well, wait a minute, I'm a mom. So I have to do everything that I can to protect this child and to make sure he has the best possible outcome. And it really drove me insane that they couldn't tell me what that means. So, like our
right.
brain searches for answers of some kind of certainty, and all they gave me was uncertainty. We don't know. We don't know what that means. So they ran the tests 4 times, and then they said, well, it's the same result. We're going to have to send you to Children's Hospital. So it was rough.
So what did it turn out? What were the results finally?
Well, this is the magic of the story. So after the 4th test, they sent us to Children's Hospital. When we got to Children's Hospital, the lady that admitted him, the way it works here is, unfortunately, they sent my baby separately from me, which I, at the moment, didn't have the strength to, like, I didn't know where I was. So anyway, we got to the Children's Hospital, and the lady that was the doctor that received my son said, hey, are you the mom of so-and-so? And I said, yeah. She said, I ran the test and everything is fine. What I failed to mention is while we were still at the hospital, each time they came to me and they said they were running the test, I went into a meditation and I called his little angels. To be honest, I don't know where this came from. I've been meditating, that's not new to me, but I've never called higher powers. I've never called other entities, like I've never done any of that. And it kind of just instinctively came to me, let me just call his angels. And I visualized these 3 little angels with golden wings. I still remember what they looked like coming over. And, I remember saying, heal my child, make sure he's okay, whatever else I said. So again, they ran the test, everything's still wrong. And then when we got to the Children's Hospital, this lady said, we ran the test, everything's fine. But it's Friday. Why don't you stay here till Monday? And if on Monday the tests come back fine, you're free to go home. And then what happened is I entered Children's Hospital, which is full of children that are not okay. And I'm walking in there after getting the best news ever. So there's this overwhelming sense of gratitude. Like, I literally just got the best news that I could have received. That I'm surrounded by moms who are suffering. It's just such a mixed feeling because you're so grateful. I was so grateful for my son that I saw the pain that these mothers were carrying. It's something I can't explain. It's feeling for others, it's feeling their pain, and it's being so overwhelmingly grateful for my son. So I surrendered to gratitude. I surrendered completely to gratitude for those 2 days of the weekend. And then when Monday came, they released us. He was okay. I still can't explain this in human terms. What happened there,
You don't have to.
right? Yeah,
There are still miracles that happen every day,
yeah.
and our faith walks us through that. And obviously, you have that faith that your baby was going to be okay. That's an
I did.
amazing testimony.
Yeah.
I would like to pause here and thank you so much for tuning in to the Miracle of Motherhood podcast. Your support means the world to me. If you would like to support our work and help us keep sharing these stories, share this video with another mother who could use the support. Like this video and of course subscribe for more motherhood stories. You can also check out the links in the description below. You'll find resources there, including this one, Divine Discovery, a Bible word search journey. It is a fun and meaningful way to stay rooted in the Word while supporting what we're doing here. Thank you again for being a part of this community. You're amazing.
Thank you, Mama. You're amazing too. Like, we can all just take a moment and appreciate moms, celebrate moms, because
Yes.
I think they're so underappreciated in this world.
They really are. And I've had so many of my friends walk some pretty dark roads with their kids. Even some of my dearest friends have lost children, and that empathy that we feel for them, like you walking through that hospital. I remember the day that I found out that one of my best friend's babies had died, and it was like a gut punch. So at the same time, we were pregnant at the same time. We had babies just a couple months apart. I was grateful for my own child, but I still had that feeling of, why her? What makes my son better than her daughter? You always have those feelings of, you know, why was I blessed in this way? But
Yeah.
that's not for us.
No. And I can tell you that those thoughts almost came to me, but I remember not letting them in because it wasn't about me, it was about my son. And
Yes.
as a mom, we do everything that we can to save them, right? To have them prepare for the best life. But we're also have to understand we're co-creators. They have their own souls. There's so much more involved. And this is why there's a conflict, right? Because we want the best for us and everyone else. And when someone else doesn't get it best, we almost want to question it, but it's understanding that we're all on different paths as well.
Yep. And each path leads each person to their own truths and their own needs, really. I know I've been through a whole
Yeah,
slew of things in my life, and every single one of them, good and bad, have taught me new things, either about myself or about the world, that helps me help other people.
absolutely.
And that's how I always look at it. I'm always grateful, even for the bad things that happen. I try to be very grateful that I'm still learning and I'm still here to help other people when something happens to them.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely. I think everything that happens to us is there for a lesson, right? And if I see it as a lesson, I will learn from it and I will be that much better for it. That's how I used to look at everything. Like when I was a trainer, if I would have an injury, I would say, you know what? It helps me understand other people better. When I had weight issues, I would say, helps me help others, right? That's the same way I see this, is this hopefully my story can help somebody else and hopefully give them hope. And this is why, by the way, I'm big on meditations, because like after that, it's like, wow, this is powerful. I believe that we have more power than we even allow ourselves to admit. But what if we step into
yes,
that? What if we step into that? What if we explore that? Include more into that? I think that we can heal. I think we can heal.
I agree. I agree. Now, you kind of answered all of my questions for a couple of sections, so I'm gonna skip over some of those and go back into just reflecting and looking back on all of these experiences that you've had with your child from birth
Right?
till
Yes.
now. And how have those things kind of shaped your approach to how you mother your child now?
Absolutely. My child is the mini me. My child is, I mean, I only remember what I remember, right? But whenever he says something or does something and has these emotions, I'll go, wow, this was me. The difference is I get to parent him differently now, and I get to, with that, reparent my inner child so that I am there for him. I can help him co-regulate. I can help him calm down. Help him understand I'm there for him. He doesn't have to figure it out on his own. And so to me, motherhood has been a life transforming experience of really pushing me into really striving to be the best version of me and see everything through the eyes of love, which is, obviously my mom was loving. I had loving parents, but it was a different time, and I don't think they knew about emotional maturity or emotions enough, and they were in survival mode themselves, and generations before they were in survival mode themselves. So when I do things differently now, I see a different outcome, and it really does heal a piece of me within because that was me.
I think we probably grew up in the same generation of children should be seen and not heard, and there was a lot of go outside until the streetlights come on.
Yeah, that was it. That was it.
And if you got hurt or you were sad or anything happened to you, you just dealt with that.
Yep,
Um, my
absolutely.
parents both worked, and it was just, we got home from school, we watched our TV until the parents got home, and then we were sent
Yep,
outside until dinner, and then we went to bed. I hardly ever saw my
yeah,
parents as a small child, so
yep,
it is surprising how different. I know I've personally decided to parent my child, and obviously you have too. And this whole generation, I feel like, has helping to provide more emotionally regulated children, because I know that a lot of that traumatized me as a child because I had nobody to talk to. And that's something that with all of my children, I'm like, no matter what it is, you can come and talk to me.
yes,
Like, I don't care how bad it is, what you've
yep,
done, it does not
yep,
matter. I'm still going to love you, and there's nothing that you can do that's going to make me not love you. Now, there might be some things that you could do that you would still need to have repercussions for,
yes.
but no matter what, I'm going to love you unconditionally. No, like, and that was not something that I felt as a
And I'm
child.
so glad you're bringing that up because people think that, on one hand, people are afraid to say what trauma is because they're like, well, everybody had it so much worse. And I did that. I was that.
Yeah.
On the other hand, to a child, it takes so little to be traumatized. I have trauma
Yes.
from kindergarten that I don't mentally remember. I only remember my parents ended up watching me when I was little, but I can tell you how crazy your body remembers things. I went back to that street 35 years later, 34, 35 years later, carrying my son here on me. And I didn't know. I didn't realize it was that street. It was in my neighborhood. So I'm walking the street. I'm carrying him, talking to him. He was a baby. And I got this weird feeling. And we women were like listening to our intuition. I'm like, is anybody following me? No. I keep going down the street and I see these yellow bricks and I get sick to my stomach. I have no memories. I just remember that that was the kindergarten. I don't remember what it looked like inside. I don't remember anything that happened inside. I don't know if I was there for 2 days, 2 months, or 2 weeks before my parents pulled me out. But I also know that that was the generation that I must have looked horrible and acted terrible for them in the 80s to recognize that it's better for my grandparents to watch me. And so people don't realize that that's enough to traumatize you, where you're so attached to your parents or your mom, and then all of a sudden you're left in an unknown space with an unknown person. And that's why I'm saying, like, I watch my kid, and there's people who are not for homeschooling, which is fine, each to their own. My
Mhm.
thing is not you have to homeschool. My thing is I want to have a choice. I
Right.
want everybody to have a choice.
Yes.
That's the thing. You then choose for you. And watching him, again, how sensitive he is and understanding that's exactly how I was, helps me understand and have even more compassion for myself to go, whoa, I was this sensitive and nobody recognized it. Like you said, there was nobody to talk to.
Right.
Co-regulation is supposed to be taught. Regulation is supposed to be taught. None of us got that. It was like, just deal with it.
No.
Because, and you hear this nowadays with older generations. Oh, these kids nowadays are too soft. And I go, you mean they're not in survival mode? Right? Like they
Right.
actually know how to express their emotions. They can speak on their emotions. So yes, not
And they're not afraid to tell you no as an adult.
yes, exactly. Is that your problem?
It's a big
That's a
deal.
big deal. Yes, the authority figure, right? And
Mhm.
so I love that you brought that up because it takes so little if you look at the scale of trauma to traumatize a child,
Mhm.
where we dismiss it and we go, oh, it wasn't a big deal. You know, people went through this and they went through that. What am I complaining about? No, it's how your body handled it or couldn't handle it. That's enough to be trauma.
Right.
Not knowing
Yeah.
that you're safe at home, that's trauma. Not having someone to talk to, all of that is trauma. And
Mhm.
not to label ourselves, oh, I went through trauma. It's to work through it. Once again, everything
Mhm.
that happened to us,
It's to become a better
yes,
person.
it's to
And
help
that's
me.
what motherhood does to you is to do that reflection and be like, "This happened to me, and I don't want it to happen to my child. I
Absolutely.
don't and I have to be a better person in order to be there enough to be there when they need me,
Absolutely. And
and to
that's
recognize when they need me and ask those questions because a lot of children don't know how to say their feelings or how to even
yep,
regulate those feelings enough to make them outwardly apparent.
absolutely.
So sometimes you just have to watch them enough to be like, there's something
Yep,
off
yep.
and be aware enough and regulated enough yourself
Yes.
to go and sit them down eye to eye and be like, I know something's off. I know you might not know what it is, but we're going to work through this.
Absolutely. It's creating the safe space for our children. You know, there's that saying, we became the people who we needed when we were little, right? So, yeah, I
Yes.
absolutely am going to protect my kid and I'm going to homeschool him because I know the trauma that it brought on to me. So, I absolutely have
Mhm.
that responsibility. That's evolution. I need to do better than my parents. And then hopefully one day he's going to go, okay, I like how she did this. I don't like how she did that. And then go one better, right? And just keep going better
Yes.
and better. And it's all comes down to emotional regulation. It really does come down to having the safe space. You know, you hear people say, you know, well, they need to toughen out, they need to prepare for the world. The world's going to do that. That doesn't mean you need to traumatize them. That means I need to create the safe space for them that they know that whatever is going on in this world, just like you said, whatever is going on in this world, they know that they got me. They know that they can come here and they're actually safe here. And then that they can
Right.
safely express those emotions. Like you said, most people don't know how to express emotions. We're just learning now because we were never taught how to do it in a safe environment. And you know, same thing, you hear parents going, oh, they need to, you know, they'll learn, they'll figure it out, they'll learn it on their own. No, they won't. This is why we're in this state of the world, is because most of us didn't have, we did have parents, most of us did, but we weren't parented in a way that a child needed to be parented, which is just over giving love, safety, and understanding that we're here no matter what.
100%. So, what has surprised you the most about yourself after becoming a mother?
How much I'm enjoying it. Because I spent so many years going around going like, "Oh, no, I don't wanna have kids." Like, take you know, don't leave them with me, take them away from me. I so was in that survival mode, and now I tell him every day, I'm like, "You don't even understand how much joy you brought into this world." Like, I feel like my life was black and white before, and now it just got colors, and, like, colors that we don't even know. Like, I just feel like I love it. I love being a mom. I love it. I absolutely I love it so much.
It's amazing. So, can you tell us a little bit about your son, like how old he
Yeah.
is? What's his personality kind of like? And what does he think about this homeschooling slash world schooling that you're doing with him?
So he's 6 years old right now. He is very sensitive. He I don't think he's ever had tantrums really. He's very easygoing. I think that he's an old soul based on his behavior. Like he has this deeper understanding of things. He's just this joy. I mean, I call him the love bundle. Whenever I'm around him, I'm in a better mood. He lights up the room. He gives me that energy, and he's very curious, which I think most kids are. I just want to cultivate that more in him. And that's homeschooling. People ask, how do you handle homeschooling? I just answer his questions, we go deeper into these
Yeah.
conversations. He's very creative. He's smart. He's got really great problem solving skills, and I again help him just cultivate that in him. He's really into drawing now, so he may be an artist, but ever since he was born, maybe because of that moment that I had when I was pregnant, I just felt he's going to make a difference in this world. There's just something about him, about his peace. He doesn't like chaotic, loud areas, which is one on the list of 1,000 reasons why I chose to homeschool. And he's the one to tell you right now, no to school. Like, there's no way. Because we joke around,
Hmm.
we'll go, you know what, we should just send you to school for like a week just so you get a feel for it.
I
Eh,
think we all do that as
Right? Yeah,
homeschoolers, don't
don't
we?
we? Yeah.
At
It's
least
like,
once, we're
listen,
like, we should just
we
send
should
you
just
for just a
send
little
you
bit so you
just
understand.
yeah, just so you get what we went through and like what you're not doing. And he's like, no, 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 no. And you can tell that, like even in a playground, he's so cautious. That is probably the trait he got from my dad. He's like so cautious. If a child is like acting up, he moves away. He likes his space. He's just a very, very overall just easy to parent kid. But yeah, he's absolutely against school. I don't see him ever wanting to go to school.
Don't blame him.
No.
There's nothing there.
I'm not
Yeah.
blaming him at all, and I hope it stays that way.
I hope so too. So if you met another mother or there's another mother out there listening who's going through some of that fear, that uncertainty, or just trying to come to terms with either wanting to be a mom or being a mom, who's like found herself becoming a mom when she didn't necessarily want to be to begin with, what would you say to her?
That's a very different question than I would answer it 15 years ago, before I was a mom. I guess it wasn't even the place for me to answer. The first thing is regulate your nervous system. And this is why I cannot stop talking about nervous system, because we see the world through our nervous system. So if our nervous system is dysregulated, we see things differently. If we're in survival mode, we see everything as attack and everything as happening against us. So if I work on me and regulate me and I feel calm, I can handle a lot more. My window of tolerance is bigger. So the first thing is we create resistance by wanting things to be different from what they are. And how do we stop that? There's something called radical acceptance, which means just accept that it is what it is. It doesn't mean you're approving it. It just means that in this moment in time, that's how it is. Second thing is the more you can regulate your nervous system, the more you can stay calm, the better you will handle life. Because when we're in survival mode, which I know now I didn't know when I was in it, a part of our brain shuts down. That's the problem solving, decision making part of the brain. Yes, problem solving, decision making, creative part of the brain. So imagine not functioning with that part of your brain. It's really tough. But when you have the calmness and then you have the problem solving, decision making part of your brain available to you, your outcomes are different. You're not reactive. You actually get to respond. And whatever your child may be triggering you in, that's the stuff you need to work on within you. If they're not triggering you for any other reason, it triggers you because that's within you to work through. Yes, I understand there are different child personalities. I get that. But when we are in calm, we handle life on a like completely different. Like it's insane how differently we look at life when we're regulated and when we're not. So if somebody's listening and they're feeling hopeless and maybe they're in a situation they didn't want to be, anything can change, but you have to learn to live in the calm, which may be unknown to your nervous system because maybe you're used to chaos. So regulate yourself, start from yourself, and then observe, why did that trigger me? What did it make me feel like? And why did that bother me? And when you start going deeper within, you realize it's never about your children or your husband or their behavior. It's about how I handle it. Did I speak my voice? Did I say calmly? Did I stay in my truth? Did I heal myself just a little bit through that? And then everything changes.
That is such good advice.
Thank you.
Wonderful advice.
Thank you.
Oh, so how do you continue in your wave of gratitude and faith and spirituality into how do you weave that into your journey of motherhood?
Practice it every day. This is like brushing teeth. If we don't do it for a few days, it's not going to be good. So like I said, meditations weren't new to me, but the depth of them were different. Now that I have a regulated nervous system, I'm able to create the life that I want because I started from me. And everything is a projection of ourselves. Once again, if we just take a moment for ourselves, and I know there's many women who are like, I'm so busy, I don't have time for me. For one, for as long as we keep saying that, that's going to be the truth. And for two, nobody's asking you to meditate for an hour every day and go on a week-long retreat. 2 minutes sitting in silence with a smile on your face. If you can just start with that, start like every morning with that, and there will be plenty. Because it's what we do consistently every day. It's not what we do big one time. It's not go big or go home. It's these little daily changes, just like brushing teeth. Just like brushing teeth.
Yep.
I can't skip brushing teeth for a month and then brush my teeth for 3 hours straight. It doesn't, it's like, why? If I do it every day
Mhm.
for 3 minutes, I'm doing myself a whole lot of good. So if you're out there and you're feeling chaotic, take 2 minutes of your time, sit in silence, breathe, close yourself in the bathroom if you need to. Breathe, take deep breaths, focus on what's good, focus on how you're feeling. Allow yourself to feel whatever it is you're feeling, and then those emotions will work through and you will start seeing life in a completely different light.
That's amazing. And before we move on to our last few questions, if people wanted to see more of you or connect with you, how would they do that?
Well, I speak on nervous system enough. That's what I do. My website is Lex Pro, so that's leks.pro. I have a free 3-day challenge every once in a while. I have a free workshop people can check out as well. It speaks to every woman. I focus on working with women. That's one way of doing it. I'm also all over social media. My name is Lex Vucko. That's Vucko. You can just Google that and find me everywhere. And one new thing that I added to my repertoire is I paired up with a friend of mine to create an app called The Adventurous Learner. That's for homeschooling, well, any parent, but homeschooling in particular. And it helps you find places in your city or any city around the US right now, and it's going to be around the world, as to what you can do that's educational for your child. So there's the app as well. It's spelled The Adventurous Learner, so we call it TAL, TAL. So those are the ways that people can reach out to me and find me and benefit from what I have to say.
Well, awesome. We will definitely be linking those things below. So let's get back to our last couple of questions. So, what has been your greatest joy from motherhood so far?
If I can say one thing, it's literally everything. Waking up, we co-sleep. Waking up next to my son every morning, because when he wakes up, he always has a smile on his face. And so waking up to that is huge for me, because my whole life I had to get up at a certain time, and I swore I'm going to create a life where I don't have to wake up to an alarm. And I created that life, and now I wake up next to him and have time, which again heals my inner child, because what child doesn't want that, right? And I never had that. So that's how my day starts. And it's like, how can a day go any way but awesome if that's how my day starts?
It
But if
starts.
that's one thing that I would say, that would be it. But it's really, I cannot believe how much I love being a mom. I love it.
And if you had one message to other moms who are listening, either about motherhood, trust, faith, what would that be?
Start from within. I mean, when I started working on me, it changed everything. And when things were falling apart in my life, they got put back together in a better way because of the work I did with me. And I know life in survival and I know life in calm, and it's a completely different experience in this life. And I'd like to remind every woman listening, you're not here to just survive. You're not here to just stress. Stress is not cute. We're not meant to be this busy. You're meant to enjoy every day. And the way to get there is to go within. Take 2 minutes. And if you're saying, Lex, I don't even have 2 minutes, take 30 seconds before you close your eyes, before you go to bed, to just sit in silence, observe your thoughts, and put a smile on your face.
I like to call it sitting in gratitude.
Yes.
Yeah. Or you're just sitting there being thankful for still being here
Yes.
and for every blessing that comes in and out of your life, and they move in and out of your life every day. So I like to take that time before I go to sleep every night to just sit in my gratitude for the day and be thankful for all the things. So that is some great advice. Now, here on the Miracle of Motherhood, we like to say that we cherish every season of the journey of motherhood. So we like to kind of end with, what season do you feel like you're in, and how would you describe that?
I don't know. I guess we're in the season of my son slowly learning some form of independence. And I think that's the season once again for me to learn when I'm needed and when I'm not, to let him learn his ways, right? Like when they're a baby, you have to serve them all the time. And now it's a little bit of, okay, you do that. I'm going to watch you and make sure you don't fall. If you do, I'm right there. So I'm definitely in the season of growth. We're also physically in the season of losing teeth, which has been more traumatic for him than I would
We are
expect.
too.
He has not been handling that too well, but I'm right there to catch him and help him regulate. And we're in the season of growth for sure because it's the new personality coming out.
Mhm.
So
If you have a motherhood story you would like to share, please email stories@themiracleofmotherhood.com. Thank you so much for joining us today.